Alrighty, good afternoon. Again, my name is Janique Green. We're here at Brogdon Middle School. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me start this from the beginning. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Okay. All right. About 2 weeks ago, there was a survey sent out to the staff here at Brogdon Middle School to survey oh, can you guys still see my screen? Oh, okay. Then why can't I see it? Okay, there we go. To survey teachers of how much they felt empowered. And based off of the data from that, there was an action plan developed. So, just to do a little bit of background about the research, this is in regards to teacher empowerment. Teachers who believe in their instructional efficacy create mastery experiences that foster student confidence. That's Bandura. Deeper teacher engagement bleeds over to students with high self-efficacy, leading to confidence in handling and achieving more demanding tasks. Darlene Hammond, another leader in the educational world, has identified 7 standard elements of successful PD models. The 7 elements are content focus, active learning, collaboration, modeling, expert support, feedback and reflection, and sustained duration. The recruitment programs that offer mentoring for new students significantly impact a lower teacher turnover rate. Teachers' evaluation should not be a one-dimensional assessment, but rather a comprehensive analysis of various aspects of student learning. And insufficient administrative support or not clearly defining teacher-led goals can impede the success of teacher-led initiatives. So basically, I just shared the research behind the survey of the data that was collected here at Brogdon because what we wanted to do was make an action plan based off of the research best practices and what we're actually doing here at Brogdon. So these are our survey results. As you know, these 5 questions, well, most of you know, these 5 questions were answered. We have about 35 certified staff members, and out of the 35 staff members, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. We have about 45 staff members, and out of the 45 staff members, 34% responded to the survey. So this is a pretty good take on data. Starting with teacher has input on professional development offerings at the school. 20%, 26% of the teachers said no, and 74% of the teachers said yes. Teachers play a role in the development of school improvement plan. 29% of the teachers said no, and 71% of the teachers said yes. Teachers play a role in setting school-wide policy. 41 of the percent of the teachers said no, and 59% of the teachers said yes. The most alarming of the data, the teacher has input in the development and or management of the school budget. 88% said no, while 12% said yes. And then the last question, teachers play a role in the hiring process for new teachers. 41% said no, and 59% said yes. And I also took data through instructional walkthroughs. Me and Mr. White went to visit 5 classes throughout the, it was about throughout the course of 2 days. We did 5 observations doing an instructional walkthrough. And what I did was I took our instructional walkthrough form that the instructional coaches and administrators use, and I made it into quantitative data. So I'm not going to run through the whole thing because most of it is just like our non-negotiables, making sure the agendas is on the board, the learning environment, are there visual aids like anchor charts and things like that. I really want to focus on, for the sake of time, I want to focus on this particular part right here. Down at the bottom where it says high impact teaching strategies slash student centered classrooms. And so when me and Mr. White did those observations, we only observed 40% of the classrooms doing cooperative learning. There was none of the classrooms using manipulatives, hands-on materials, calculators, tools, or anything like that across the subjects. There was reading across the curriculum that was incorporated. That was at 100%. Writing, we did not see any writing, and in differentiation in the during the lesson. There was differentiation in the questioning, but there was not differentiation or tiered assignments in the individual assignments. And so the reason why I wanted to focus on that particular area right there, because that directly relates to the professional development offerings that that teachers feel empowered to speak up about, as well as having an input on the budget. And so this is the gap analysis, the what we're doing here at Brogden versus the research best practices. Professional development, there's a lack of teacher input, not in line with school goals to increase writing, use of manipulatives, and peer collaboration. In regards to school improvement, teacher voice is controlled by administration, and not everyone feels they have a voice. Setting school-wide policy, again, there is lack of teacher voice. Input or management of the school budget, there is no budget transparency. And playing a role in the hiring of new teachers, not every teacher qualifies to be a part of the hiring team, but how can we include them in the hiring process? And so, based off of the research best practices, the data that was collected is the data through the survey, as well as the data during the walkthrough. There was an action plan developed that was collaborated between me, the instructional learning team, as well as the administration team that makes up the PLC that I'm currently working with. And so the action plan was just too big to put on slides. So I went ahead and put it on a Google Doc. I'm just going to make this full screen. Oh, wrong thing. Here we go. Okay. All right. So based on the gap analysis, there was specific recommendations or activities that what we would like to see happen here at Brogden. So the first one is to create a teacher advisory board. And the teacher advisory board will work closely with the administration team to basically fill those gaps in the budget transparency in regards to teachers knowing that what funds are available and how to go about requesting them, as well as professional development offerings. And so one of the indicators of success is that we would like to see this increase as a school-wide policy. Um, we're going to re-administer the survey at the end of the school year, because one of the things that we do want to do is introduce transparency with the budget so teachers do know how to get those funds. Because one of the things that's important, we want a school culture where students are able to learn hands-on and get hands-on materials. And a lot of those materials, like through teacher discussion, a lot of that wasn't happening because the teacher felt like they were not willing or unable to purchase those manipulatives with their own funds, and it's not required. So that transparency, that's one of the main goals that we want to pull up as soon as possible. Also, we want to develop a peer mentoring program. and which is more a structured approach. So I know that Durham Public Schools has a beginning teacher mentor. And for the teachers who are in their first 3 years, but we want to create a mentoring program here at Brogden, a more structured one. So even teachers out of that 3 year window can still receive support. One of the things that was uncovered in my studies is that a lot of seasoned teachers are left behind in the mentoring program because they're always seen as the experts. But then at the same time, they may struggle with like the way things are done new. Like, there's always new instructional practices and new information. So we would like a mentorship program that caters to everyone's needs, not just the beginning teacher's needs. We would like to have a school budget discussion by the end of April, which will assist in closing the gap of, that budget transparency. We would like to offer some personalized professional development in regards to differentiating, writing across curriculum. So not just in ELA classes, but in math and social studies and science, how can we incorporate writing? Because as we all know, writing impacts reading, and we all know that a lot of our students struggle with reading. So writing is something that's very important. We also want to offer professional development to prepare teachers for leadership roles because there's a lot of leadership roles that go unfulfilled because teachers don't know that it's available, what qualifies you to fill that role, and the talents that you may already have and be already doing in your classroom that could be spread school wide. And then we would like to add open forum to at the end of all meetings in regards to all PLC meetings, all staff meetings, just staff being able to have the space and opportunity to bring up any questions or concerns that they may have. And then to to see the success or God forbid the failure of the action plan, we're going to re-administer the teacher empowerment survey at the end of the 2025 2026 school year. So most of the action items that are in that school plan is things that are going to happen next year because we are at the end of the school year. Well, technically, because we're ramping up for testing season, trying to get through our curriculum to ramp up for testing season. But one of the main short-term goals is to have that budget transparency. All right, are there any questions? I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Are there any questions? Wait one moment, Miss Dr. McDowell. We cannot hear you. Or is it me? Hold on, it might be me. Okay, can you repeat that?
I can't hear her either.
Oh, no, I can't hear you, Dr. McDowell. I can
Your
bring my,
computer might still be connected to the projector. That might be what's going on.
I'll go over to your room, Dr. McDowell. You can speak for mine. Give me a second. Okay. You want to, you can just talk on that. You may have to mute your volume, so. Yeah.
No, I was just saying that I put it in the chat that I love all the ideas that were presented because I think all of them are very valuable in moving the school forward. So I love all of the ideas. So thank you.
Thank you for that support. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree, especially around budget transparency. This is my third year here, and I do not know if I wanted to purchase manipulatives for my classroom. Like, how would I go about doing that? I genuinely don't know.
Yes. Yes, and that was, you know, ironically, when I looked at the survey myself, and I have requested funds, you know, for like the events for the National Junior Honor Society and things like that. I've requested funds, but because there is no budget transparency when I was in a classroom, I never even thought to ask for funds for, you know, manipulatives and things. Dr. Rue, if you're speaking, I can't hear you. You might, are you connected to the projector as well?
I've got an IEP meeting that I've got to get to, but thanks so much.
Okay, thank you so much for joining.
And Mrs. Green, while we're waiting for Dr. Rue, I do like how you mentioned that teachers can give feedback or make comments after meetings. Just
Yes,
have a session for that. So I do believe in empowering teachers because being heard is so important. And
yes.
being heard to collaborate to come up with solutions as a team and a community is, I like how you put that in there.
Yes. And not just to comment on what is being presented at the time, but just school in general, what's going on.
Okay, can you hear us?
Yes.
Great. I don't know. Mine wasn't connected to anything, so thank you. Great job, by the way,
Thank
on the
you.
presentation. I'm out of breath because I was running up and down the hall. Um, hey, I think one of the best projects in school are ones that add value to the school itself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for doing that. I think one of the better ideas, because this impacted me, was the peer mentoring program
Yes.
for experienced teachers. Because probably the thing I had the most difficulty with transferring here, because I was a standalone charter school for 14 years before that, was
Yes.
knowing the procedures, and I didn't have anybody, so it really drug me.
Yes.
So one of the things that helped me with Mr. Winberry was remembering all those things, and I was like, how the heck do we do this? I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a brilliant idea. And then
Yes.
I have one quick question. When you were talking about the survey, how much of that stuff do you think is just communication problems in terms of it
So
in?
now, this is the thing about the survey. It goes according to how you feel. So if there is communication, that's still a part of the gap analysis of failure to communicate. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Because at first, you know, when I first looked at the survey data before going extensively into the research, I felt the same way. Like, well, we all have the opportunity to do this, and we all have the opportunity, you know, to do that. But the thing is that the for the hiring of you know, new staff, for example. So in that category, it's not just hiring; it's also peer mentoring and, you know, things of that nature. So, you know, not everybody is going to be a part of the hiring committee, but there's a lot of teachers who don't even know there is one.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then there's not even an official one. It's just, you know, at times admin will pull, you know, teacher leaders in the building to be a part of, you know, certain hiring processes. But if you have something more structured, it gives you something to strive for, especially as a beginning teacher or a teacher just looking to be in a leadership role.
Mhm. All right. But again, great job. That
Thank you
was
so
very
much.
helpful.
Thank you so much.
And
So,
Mrs. Green, you did when Dr. Rue mentioned that, I do like that, like giving teachers the information to say these are ways that you can develop as a leader
yeah,
and making that very clear and extending those opportunities because that also can be reflected on your evaluation as well. But if you
yes.
don't know you have the opportunity to do it, you don't
Mm-hmm.
know. So that's good. Thank you.
Yep, that is a part of the NESE's evaluation. So, you know, and when teachers get not proficient or not observed, it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? So that will kind of, you know, alleviate that problem.
I think another benefit of the mentorship program is like as a BT, I have had school-based mentors and they've been really helpful. And I've been like very anxious on, okay, after my third year, that goes away.
Yeah.
And so like luckily I found people that I know will keep mentoring me and giving me advice after that. But to have something official for other people who maybe don't have those relationships built
Yes.
and also have that anxiety, I think is really great. And then also, I feel like a lot of mentoring goes both ways, right? Like
Yes.
somebody's teaching me something, I'm teaching them something. Dr. McDowell and I have a really great relationship in our PLC, and a lot of our ideas are hybrids of both of our brains. And it turns out to be some of the best lessons. So I'm really glad that, we're working towards having more structure so that everybody can benefit like that.
Yes. Yes. Well, I thank everybody for being here. I'm going to stop the recording.